The metaverse is like Roblox, except for adults. And I chose Roblox instead of, say, Minecraft because Roblox is just a lot more immersive, where the content is all created by other people. And so that's exactly what we're going to see in the metaverse, is just lots of content, lots of virtual worlds created by you and I. And what's interesting about Roblox is that kids, primarily, they're going there and they're hanging out with their real life friends. We're not talking about they're hanging out with their online friends. We're talking about kids going home, they go on Roblox and they hang out with their real life friends that they just saw in school, for example. And of course, it has its own economy already. In the last episode, we talked about how Roblox creators are already making some of them are making a lot of money. And that's what they're doing as their full-time job. So wanted to get your thoughts on that first, Clayton.
Yeah, I think the reason why, so I agree for the short and medium term that it's for adults. The main thing I think why it's for adults right now is because it's heavily weighted towards crypto people in the current Web3 metaverse. And that's because when you think of the metaverse, I think of 20 to about 45 is the range that a lot of people are interested in crypto. When you get much higher than 45, let's say you're a 60-year-old, you're close to retirement, the chances of you being interested in a digital economy is much lower. You didn't grow up in that footprint. But the other end of the spectrum is you have, the 9 to 13 teenager range, and that market still hasn't seemed to tap into like Sandbox or the current metaverses. I think the reason why they have not tapped into it is because if you're a 20 to 45-year-old, the chances of you having income is much higher than a 9 to 13-year-old. And I think the current layer of friction between a younger person, a teenager, is that they don't have disposable income like a 20-year-old does, or 20-year-old or higher. So I think that once it'll eventually morph into games, and the reason why I think that is because the traditional metaverse, they have the DeFi economy, which is big. You basically need to have money to participate in those economies. And right now, the current metaverses, you kind of have to have money to have participation. The games that are free to play are not as fun as Roblox. So there's still not an appeal to the younger generation to even have fun in the metaverse. So it's either you have money or the fun has to raise for people of the younger generation to come in. I think one of the reasons why we're big on we think the gaming industry is going to onboard a lot of people is because at some point there will be a low free-to-play type game that is fun that these younger generations are going to want to play. And then once it happens, they'll be directly introduced to crypto, or they'll be, how do I say this? They will be using NFTs and on-chain stuff that may not be aware of yet, but they'll soon realize the possibilities with DeFi, GameFi, and they will be able to have their own economies built on top of that. And I think that will be the entry point. So I think it is for the metaverse now, but I think long-term you'll see younger generations start on board more in the future, because I think the gaming industry is going to just keep getting better and better and better with the experience component.
Yeah, I didn't really think about the point that you made that right now you need money to participate in the metaverse. Like that's almost exclusively true. You could, we talked about last episode, you could go in Decentraland, but right now all you can do is play poker, which of course requires money. Yeah. Well, sorry, go on. Like Sandbox, right? So you can check out Sandbox and you don't need money there, which is cool. Like the alpha season, you could also create stuff in the Sandbox. It doesn't require money. So that's, I think, a major reason why we like the Sandbox as a front runner for one of the virtual worlds that will be around, or one of the metaverses that will be around.
And there are hints of younger people starting to get like monetizing their abilities if there's no cost of entry. I see this in the art world where you see teenagers come in they'll mint something on super rare and they're really talented and the right collector will buy them. And then their stuff is going for tens of thousands of dollars and they're like 16 years old. So the entry to
You're talking about someone other than Ferocious?
Yeah. There's a few out there that are
oh, really?
Yeah, they've made a lot of money. And the reason why they're able to do that is because the cost of entry is just the transaction fee. Like one's the knowledge is to know what NFTs are, which they're technically savvy for the most part at that age. So it's not as big of a leap as someone in their 60s. And then they just have to pay the transaction fee, which can be, depending on the time of the bull run or bear run, it could be fairly low. And then, so that's basically it. You don't have to buy land. You just basically have to be talented and release your NFT on a platform that, tailors to high-end collectors. Easier said than done, but the entry point is there. And that, I think, is a glimpse of what will be later with gaming when the entry is much lower and the games are more fun. You'll see people coming up with younger generation coming up with different strategies to monetize their content, whether it be minting NFTs, and they'll eventually see, I can earn this kind of yield from DeFi, or I can lend out this asset that I created to someone for money. One of the things I think is going to be really cool. This is almost a side tangent, but think of like if Halo does NFTs, but they don't care about scarcity. They rely on the content creators to create the scarcity of an asset by their following on, let's say, Twitch. So let's say that they play games and they're using this battle rifle that is an NFT. They can reward their followers with that battle rifle, and then from now on, the follower can use that battle rifle in their own games and play. And so people will know that this person was owned by Nadeshot, who uses battle rifle. And I think that's going to be, you'll see it in, I think, the esports world too, is because think of if you could have the first football used in the first Super Bowl. Like that's basically what's going to happen with esports is there'll be nothing like rarity in terms of you can mint as many battle rifles as you want, but there will be only one battle rifle that was in this championship esports game that got the game, like the last kill. Like that will probably go to trade for a lot of money. And those kind of things will introduce a lot of gamification on assets where you don't have to spend a lot of money to buy the asset. You just mint them for free and then just let the content creator bring the value to the asset. I think that'll also be another entry point.
So you said that the content creator mints the item.
Yeah.
Right, because they're minting it, and so it's on chain that shows that they owned it, and so their fans are going to want to own that item because it has their name on it.
Yep.
What's the closest thing that you've seen to what you're describing? Like, I totally understand what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. What's the closest that we have right now to that?
I don't know if we do in terms, because right now it seems like projects are focusing on false scarcity on, we want to create the fake value by limiting the scope of it. But I think to onboard people, you want to make the onboarding piece very easy and then let the content creator create the value. And I don't see that happening yet, where they're offloading the value creation to the content creator. It's more like their platform is like Sandbox. They have this. We know that they're doing this gym thing where they're trying to make legendary assets scarce, which I don't necessarily think is a good idea because it's going to be difficult to mint, boss characters or things like that. It's a friction point between the creator and those areas. But if you had a way that the content creator could eventually mint as many as they want, and they create their own value that way. I think that is what you'd want to do. And I don't know, to answer your point, I don't know of a game that does it currently right now.
So this is something that I've always thought about, which is, when kids right now, they're in Roblox, they experience the immersive aspect of being in a virtual world with their real friends, right? And typically, I think the age of someone who plays Roblox is probably like 6, maybe up to 15, 16, 17, maybe. And then what? What happens after that? Where are they going to go? Which social network are they going to jump in? And I've always thought, like, there's no way they're going to go from 3D to a 2D social network. Like that seems silly to me. So it's interesting because are they going to go to Fortnite? Like, that's a possibility. That's turning out to be a social network too for people that are a little bit older.
What you've kind of seen this with the Minecraft stuff that you've been involved with. What was so that Minecraft is early on? Where did they typically go? I know a lot of stayed on Minecraft. Where did a lot of people move to after that phase?
Yeah, so Minecraft is unique because you can do other things other than playing the game as it is. And so you get a lot older people playing. They stay on for a lot longer. I mean, we have builders that are, in their 20s, 24, 25, and they're still in the game, but they're not like playing the normal game. They're building structures. They're building essentially game maps well into their 20s. Like some people, some of the YouTubers that I follow, they're in their 30s.
So do they have any other, like, is there a more universal thing that they're interested in outside of Minecraft, like that they potentially, I know they stay in longer, but is there anything that they potentially migrate to after?
Yeah, it's the Sandbox.
Sandbox.
It was easy once the Sandbox was in the news. Prior to them being in the news, it was a lot harder to onboard Minecraft people to start building in the Sandbox. Like, I did it. It was just maybe like 1 out of 5 would do it. Now it's like 3, 4 out of 5 would do it.
Got it. And do they like the transition? Have you talking with them where they link the tooling in comparison? And
yeah, of course, like the tooling is nowhere near where Minecraft is, particularly in the way you can really build out structures quickly. There's also no recording plugin in the Sandbox, such as in like Minecraft. And so when you search on YouTube to look for Minecraft videos, you see a lot of these time lapses, and those are created using a specific software, a plugin in Minecraft. They don't have that in the Sandbox, and so you don't see many time lapses. So the tooling is not quite there yet, but the creative aspect part, the part that people love in Minecraft, it's there in the Sandbox. And what's nice about it is, so we have a builder who comes from Minecraft, is very good. He can build stuff very quickly in the Sandbox as well. And one of the things that Sandbox does well, I think, is there is the marketplace where you can find all these different assets to use. And that allows people to create structures, maps very, very quickly. Hey everyone, this is Jack, and thanks for watching this clip from Hello Player One. If you enjoyed it, you can click here to watch another one, or if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here. See you later.